So today's plans are scuppered. We've got wind, we've got rain, and it's not very nice out there, so I just thought I'd come out and do a little walk around, see if there's any damage, see what's happening. We'll do this between the rain showers. Very, very windy today. And it's going to get a lot more stormy. Everything seems okay in the nursery area anyway. Some of the grasses this year definitely going to have to be cut back. Even some of the evergreens will need a little bit of cutback after that frosty weather that we had. Now, I've been looking out and I've been watching the weather forecast and seeing what's going to happen in the next week or two. And it's looking like it's going to be stormy, but it's not looking like it's going to have much cold weather. Well, it's going to be cold, but it's not going to be frosty. And I'm toying with the idea now of making a start of cutback and getting some of the things down, like these little bits in the wild area here. This is the orchard area, actually. Not much of an orchard, but it's got a few plants that it wouldn't hurt for me to chop down. So I might make a start on those. The Cal Forster border, the Calamagrostis acutiflora Cal Forster border, really needs sorting now. It's not offering too much. It's still looking good, don't get me wrong. Look, it looks fantastic on here. Most of the seed heads are practically gone, or there's no seeds on there, but don't forget this is sterile. So it doesn't matter even if they are there. They're not doing anything at all at the moment. These alliums are doing exceptionally well. This is part of the problem, to be honest with you. Part of the problem that I know if the alliums are starting to push up and they're a summer grower, then there's going to be a lot of stuff not far behind. By God, listen to that wind. So we've got to make a decision. Do we start cutting back? Well, I don't want to cut back yet because there's still a lot that these plants are offering me in the garden. They're looking fantastic. I'm definitely not doing this section yet because on Monday this is going to change, hopefully. Should be some new doors in there. There's some plants in here, some alliums that, I'll be honest, I don't remember planting. I think I did plant them 2 years ago, those ones, and for some reason this year they've come up. They've decided they're going to make a show. And they can be a bit funny like that, plants. Some years they'll make a no-show, and then other years, up they come. So the wildlife pond's looking good. Quite a few leaves blown back into it, but I did expect that, and I know that's going to just happen all the time at the minute until the grasses are chopped back. That dustbin isn't going to stay there. That dustbin is literally protecting that plant, and that doesn't need protecting anyway. That's Cyanara. It don't really need protecting. I just put it there out of the way, if I'm honest. It's really windy and rainy, and I had intended to get on with the patio area, which we'll show you in a minute, so bear with me. The secret garden. Look, we've got some bulbs. Right, these bulbs here, these are daffodils. So, narcissus. And they, believe it or not, I've shown this in a previous video, they were stuck down there on the floor all last year when I've pulled them up, when I was developing this area. And they went through the 40-degree heat that we had in the summer, and it hasn't hurt them at all. Plants are very, very resilient. Never underestimate what plants can do. They're pretty good. They want to grow, they don't want to die. I think I'm going to have to retreat this decking and boardwalk. It needs another coat of protection. I don't want it rotting away too quick. I mean, it won't rot in my time, but it's starting to fade. It was 1.5 years since I last treated that, so we'll maybe give that a treat this year. Paint something onto it. Obviously somewhat wildlife friendly. What else can I say? Viburnum, this David eye, it's looking really good now. flowering, starting to flower. Oh, well, it's setting its flower heads. As you can see, those little, what colour would we call those? Reddish flower heads that you can see there. They're the flowers. Now, the only downside to Viburnum davidi is that it doesn't really have much of a scent. But the flower's quite pretty, and it's a lovely shrub. What don't I talk about much? I don't talk much about the bamboos, do I? Because people really do dislike putting bamboos in the garden, or a lot of people dislike it. Not everybody. But they're really, really nice plants to put in. Now, this one here is a Fargesia type. It's Nitida, and I do believe it's Robusta. Let me just look at the label. I forget, we forget what we plant. Formidable Robusta. There is a Robusta, but this one's Formidable. It's been in 2 years now, and it's. I've always said, when you put a plant in, first year, expect it just to sit there. Second year, it will set in its roots and maybe grow a little bit, but in the third year, that's when it really does take over. As is this one doing. So it's kicking in now. I'm quite happy with that. That's looking really good. So other bamboos. I've got another Fargesia here, and this one's called Obelisk. And it's relatively new in, but it's looking good. And it's a tall, skinny, upright bamboo that I think makes to 12 foot, something like that. Can't remember off the top of my head. And then there's another Fargesia here. Also looks good. This is Winter Black. It's another Fargesia Nitida. And that is going to grow up, and it's going to sort of cover most of that area that you can see above it. So it's going to disguise the side of that Anderson shelter, or what is my Anderson shelter arbour seat, and partly the secret garden. The secret garden sat behind there. And as you know, I put the fence up because I wanted to make that secret a bit quicker, and it's looking good. So these plants have got to mature yet. Once they've matured, we'll be fine. It might even pay me to take that fence down eventually. I may leave it. I don't know. I like it, actually. I quite like what it is. So I may leave it. There's another viburnum there going to help with the secrecy, and several other plants, but we won't go into those. So that's a little bit about the bamboos. There are different types of bamboo. I don't know why I'm walking down there because there's no bamboos down here. I think I just want to have a look, make sure there's no real damage going on. And there ain't. This is the secret garden. The tree above me is making a bit of wind noise. It's looking good. I can smell somebody's log burner. It's quite nice, actually. So this door will get sorted. May take a bit of time. I am going to cut it down. I am going to turn it into a gate as opposed to a door. So it will be a gateway to the secret garden. And that should look really nice. I can see it in my mind's eye. That's what that's going to be. So that's looking good. It's all looking good. Everything's dropped its leaves now. Some of the shrubs, or most of the shrubs, have dropped their leaves finally. The trees lost their leaves a long time ago. Oh, but the evergreens. Oh, here's another bamboo here. Now, let's give you the full name of this. I've shown you a million times before. Right, it's Thamnocalmus crassinodus Q Beauty. I'll try and zoom in on that. And it's a really nice bamboo. And again, it's a clump former. Don't be fooled that all bamboos are invasive. They're not. Not all bamboos are invasive. Now, it has suffered a bit this year as a result of the frost we had. And as you can see, there's quite a bit of dead stuff in there, but that's going to bounce back absolutely beautifully. It'll be fine. I like that one. And that has got a lovely look on its canes. Let's try and zoom in on that as well. Look, that blue. What is it? It's a bloom, really. And it's nice. And as I've pointed out before, the new growth is more red. as it grows, but then it turns to a browny red and then eventually brown. But it's a continuation of the growing cycle that changes it. The gravel garden, this is what we're working on, aren't we, at the minute? We're going to be working back on this, but while we're here, let's have a look at this. This is Ace of Davidii, and it's one called Viper. And let's get that zooming in. I'm trying to show you that bark. This is why we have it. It's a snake bark maple. And it's kind of doing it. It's not perfect yet. Rain's starting again. Crazy Anna. This is Aera Metallicum. We've all got this one, and I love this one, to be honest with you. I absolutely love it. I've got it growing all over the garden. And I have to be very aggressive with it. So the rain's really on now. So luckily, I brought my Lincoln Cathedral umbrella. So we're all right. So we can carry on. So yeah, the rain's really at it now. Again, there's absolutely nothing I could do. I kind of accepted last night when I heard the wind whistling round that this was going to happen. So I kind of didn't make any big plans to do anything. Now, one thing I have been doing is I've been picking up these rocks down here. So I've got some more sandstone rocks. Look at that. Isn't it great? I picked these up from somewhere we're working at the minute, and they've been buried. They were surrounding what we believe to be a pond. And I've took them all because I want to carry on not only around the patio area, which is through there, but I also want to do a little bit more changing around the pond, as I've said. But I'll explain that in a minute, so bear with me. Now this is Euphorbia wolfenii, and this is just a selected seedling I picked out, but it's now setting its flowers. Those little flowers will become massive. They look really tiny at the minute, well they will get really big. I like this plant actually. This one's called Phlomis italica, and it's pretty much evergreen. Now Helen, who I got it off, says she cuts hers down every year, but I haven't touched it yet, and I don't think I'm going to either. I think I'm going to leave it and let it do its own thing. This is looking great, isn't it? Look at that. I just love it. I just love looking at the garden. Look at that. Even on a rainy day, does it matter? No, it doesn't. It's great just looking. Can't do anything. Well, I could, but I'll end up with a massive cold if I start working out here in this weather, and it'll be so frustrating and irritating. And as I've said, you can do these things. Everybody can do these things, but the other day I mentioned that this is going to be hard work. I know, so it's a bit of hard work that it takes. But these are really heavy, so I'm going to have to struggle when I do set to it. And I might set to it tomorrow. Now, this afternoon it's supposed to stop. But I don't believe any weather report I've ever heard. I never believe it. So I'll kind of assume that I'm not going to get that done tomorrow either. This afternoon either, rather. But tomorrow's set to be good as well. But I think I may have a look at it tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see how I feel tomorrow. I'd kind of set myself up today to do this. Let's get around the corner out of the wind. So that's the corner of Grassy Bottom. And that's the owl, not the owl border, that's the silver birch border there, for very obvious reasons. I used to call that the owl border, can you believe? Because originally that owl sat up there was going to be in this silver birch border, but then I changed my mind. As you know, I do that from time to time, and pretty much all the time. Now, I've been looking at this elder through the window, and there's Hamish. He's wondering what I'm doing. That's Hamish. He's still a kitten, believe it or not. He's massive. Anyway, right, so this elder, the Sambucus, and it's one called Black Tower, and you can see now it's lost all its leaves. It's looking very, very upright. And the bit to the left, I can't point it out to you because I'm holding the umbrella. The bit on the left where the white stick is, Okay, let's have a go. There, that one. That is an old growth, and I'm toying with cutting that off very soon. But what I'm hoping to do is take some cuttings off the top, because it takes very easily and it roots out very easily, and I've took other cuttings of that and they've all been successful. In fact, all 4 that I took were successful last year. So I don't want to waste them. So if we do cut that off, and it's looking very likely at the minute that I will, because we need to keep this growing tall, and if you let it or leave it to its own devices, although that would still look skinny and tall like Black Tower, it would look better if I selected certain branches and took them off, and that being one of them, the one with most of the leaves that's still left on there. We will take 1, 2, 3. There's probably 5 or 6 cuttings in there, so we'll not waste that. If I do take it down, that's what I shall be doing. I've got all these sort of structures, haven't I, around the garden that you all seem to like, and I've loved these forever. I collect them all over the place, and not all of them are doing the thing at the moment. They're just sat around the garden at the moment, a lot of the stuff like that, until I get a bit further along with the design that I'm doing with it all. I'm always changing it. So, the rocks we've just seen on the driveway, the very original intention was I was going to carry this rock formation around where these cobbles are, these Scottish cobbles, and I love the look that it's got at the minute. Don't get me wrong, I love the look, but I'm thinking now that I've managed to get hold of these cobbles that I am going to do something with them, and I am going to integrate them here and make it go around here where the cobbles are. Maybe not all of them, we'll integrate the cobbles with it, but you've got to remember there's a Rheum palmatum back there. Once that Rheum palmatum grows, this front section, a lot of it's going to be hidden through summer. But remember, when we get to winter again, we come back to this bare look once the Rheum palmatum dies off. But you've always got to be mindful what's going to happen. And I'm very, very mindful. And I know, because I've had this Rheum palmatum here for the last 2 years. Well, it was further forward, if you remember. The stick bit there, that's just showing you where the Rheum palmatum is. The dark section at the bottom of it, that's the Rheum palmatum. It's died away for winter, but it'll be fine. It'll come back. And it'll cover a lot of that. But I still want to give it this look around here. And I've got some absolute cracking sandstone that I've brought back with me. So we're going to do that. Now, if the weather does cheer up later on, I just might do that this afternoon, and you might have another video appearing at some point. Let's just show you this while I'm here again. This is Viburnum davidi again. The one that never ever suffered the viburnum beetle. This one's never suffered it. The ones I showed you earlier definitely did. Now, these are new ones, and as we've had this conversation before, these are from some Viburnum davidi. That's probably not the true one. That's probably a seedling. So it's likely to become bigger than it should. But I'm not bothered about that. That's fine. What will be, and it is what it is. That's how close I am to the road. So to say we're that close, we're quiet really, I guess, until we get the boy racers running past. They're a bit irritating, but I never try and mention them. The euphorbia is now taking on all these, well, the wonderful art, the cracking tones. Look at them, absolutely beautiful. And this is my own Malachi, and all the yellowing bits that you see. I'm telling you this, if you're a novice, all the yellow bits there will fall off, as they are doing on this one now. They're all falling off, and that's what they do. I'm hoping this year that this flowers. It didn't flower last year, as I've mentioned many times before. It didn't flower. And why, I don't know. Somebody said it could be something to do with the soil. Not likely, because I had the same plant in a pot, bigger, several of them, and none of them flowered, not even in the plant pots, and they had compost in the plant pot, so it was nothing to do with that. I don't know what went on with it. Something did. looking good. Even in the wet, the ornamental grasses look fantastic. And this is why I'm reluctant to cut back too soon. And it is too soon. And I've seen some of you are cutting back. And the only people I'd recommend cut plants back at this time of year are the big gardens, the massive ones who've got a limited amount of staff and they have to do it. Well, here's another bamboo, look. That's the red bamboo. That's another Fargesia. Another Fargesia knitted. I'm trying to remember it's Juizago or something like that. I can't remember exactly. That's not even how it is actually. I'm making that up. Juizago or something like that. But anyway, I can't say it. You know, they give them the blooming long names, and half the time you can't pronounce them. I'm sure it's deliberate. But this was freshly done, wasn't it? So we've got this arbutus here. Guess you could call that a small tree or a shrub. Depends how you want to keep it. That's the strawberry tree or bush. I don't know what you want to call it. That's going to work far better than the shrub that was in there. Because the shrub that was already in there was a spirea of some description. And I think it was Gutifolia. But it wasn't doing very well there. So I decided it had to come out. And it has come out. That's going to be far better over time, believe me. That'll look really, really nice. But by then I might have changed it again. Who knows? And we'll pan around again. It is looking really nice. Despite the rain, despite the cold, it's really nice to walk around the garden. And I do it all the time. Now those rocks I've just shown you as well, aside me doing it around the pond again, I'm also going to tag onto this. This is going to now form, the bigger rocks that I brought are going to form a backdrop at the back of these slabs once I get them in. Because remember, that's going to drop down by about, I actually think it is only about 6 inches they'll drop down. But I'm going to put some taller rocks behind them to stop the gravel dropping in. And I may even, if I can show you, I may even do, where's my finger? There it is. I may even put more slabs, rocks around here. So I've got plenty to do it with. And it's going to make it look even more interesting. And I might do what David Stevens, the famous garden designer, says is a pinch point. And by that, what he talks about is it starts here, so we bring it out fairly... What I'm trying to say. We bring it quite a way out here, and we bring it out, so it makes you and forces you to walk between it. So if I can get the rock out far enough between it and that buxus, that'll create a pinch point. In fact, this one that's a pinch point, really. It kind of makes you want to go through it. It kind of draws you. And a true pinch point is when it draws you through it, you can't see the other end, and then you come out the other end and, oh, surprise, a lovely little view awaits you. And that's what a true pinch point is. But, you know, pinch points are all different kinds of things. So I guess this could be a pinch point, and it will be more of a pinch point as time goes on. It will draw you down. There will be trees. It will force you to go down there and act as a pinch point, I guess. I don't want to go into that too much. So I'm getting a bit wet now, even under the umbrella. I just wanted to show you on a stormy day. I don't mind when I come out of the garden. I don't care. I love it any time of the day or year, because we have to plan things. And I've now got enough of that slab to get rid of some of those wider areas. So when I finally put it down, they'll be a lot closer together. Because I will jiggle around it'll be like a jigsaw when I start that process. And it is likely to be tomorrow if the weather's good. It won't take long. And what I've decided now, and upon consultation with other people, it may pay me just to simply dig that flat as I can, ruffle up the soil underneath, and then start laying them level. And what I will have to do, let me let's get back, God, Jesus. What I will have to do is level each one individually, and maybe have to raise some or lower some. It depends how flat and level we want it. As you can see from this umbrella, it's really going for it now. Oh my God, it's getting worse. Like I said last week, we was expecting this, and finally the weathermen got something right. So, there we go. So, we're on 25 minutes now, so I maybe ought to make a stop. In fact, I don't think I'm going to go back that way. It's a bit windy. I'll go this way instead. So, this bit here, as you know, will be in development soon. I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait. Get dead excited. Now, while we're here, let's show you another section. So, this is where some of the slabs came from. Remember, I did the other video, and this is... They were just wasted here. There's another one over there. You can quite clearly see where it was. So all the slabs that I got came from the garden. They were already here. The previous owner stood plant pots on them. What a waste of time. What a waste of a good slab when I can do all this with them. So the garden's looking great. We'll see what happens later. If I do manage to get those rocks put round the wildlife garden itself, I will show you. I'll show you what I did. If it doesn't, then it'll probably end up being tomorrow or into next week when we get round to that, because we can't do too much at once. So we'll call it a day at that. I'm going to try and stand somewhere where I can turn this video off, because it's very difficult when it's windy. So we'll end with that shot. That's a nicer shot to end with. So yeah, thanks for looking again. Tell your friends about me, and I'll bung you a £5. And I'll talk to you soon. Ta-da!